The internet and YouTube in this case are full of snake oil salesmen with clickbait thumbnails like these, where they force the user to watch the video just to tell you what you already know, that there's a platform or a way to make money by doing a certain thing. On top of that, they tell you that you can make X amount per day, per month, and so on. But why don't they do it themselves? Why don't they try it out and confirm that it actually works? It's like if I made a video about Mr. Beast and in the thumbnail, I just claim, just imitate him and you'll make 21 million a month. But of course, one thing is the maximum someone has achieved, and another is the reality, that there are billions of channels that have put in the effort and never earned anything. At TPO, that's not our style on this channel. We like to try things out ourselves. We like to show the reality, to have the experience ourselves so we can help you figure out whether it's worth it or not. On our website, we're looking for people who genuinely want to understand and try out ways to make money online. Check it out if you also want to be part of this project. But here I'm going to introduce you to Reggie, a guy from Peru who has helped us understand through his experience the potential of making money online with different platforms, where you can earn by doing mini online tasks, offers, surveys, and so on. Reggie has been testing these platforms daily, especially 3 of them: Cointiply, TimeBucks, and Microworkers. Stay tuned to this video because Reggie has kept track of everything he's done, the time he's spent, how much he's earned on each platform, and how much he's made from each task. And at the end of the video, we'll see what happened. We're going to draw some conclusions. You'll be able to understand which platforms are really worth it, how much you can earn per hour, which are the best tasks to do, what problems came up during this experience, and also what you can actually do with the money you earn from them. So let's check it out.
My name is Reggie and I'm from Peru. Over the past few weeks, I've been testing out several platforms that claim you can make money online. I did surveys, tasks.
Reggie is a young student in Peru at university who's looking to make some extra money, just like you could be. The idea was for Reggie to use 3 or 4 similar platforms every day to see how much he could earn. The plan was to write down everything he did and the time spent to better understand each platform. For this, we used an Excel sheet where everything would be recorded. An Excel sheet that I'll show you later with all the notes, comments, and most importantly, the earnings. At the end of the video, you'll see how much was earned per hour on each platform. I want to introduce you to the platforms a bit. The first one is Cointiply. Turn your free time into free Bitcoin. A catchy slogan. Earn up to $596 per offer. On the main page, they give you some tempting hooks that make it seem like you can earn a lot of money by playing. I don't want to drag this out too much. Reggie proceeded to register. Once inside, he found that they offered certain rewards right from the start, like free spins and a mystery box. Reggie opened them, but the rewards weren't very enticing. 25 and 50 coins, which basically amounts to 0.0025 and 0.0050 cents respectively. Reggie notes all of this down meticulously, but where he can actually make money is with the offers and games. Supposedly, that's why he tries out a couple of them. He doesn't show us here, it's more about Party and Love Water, the games he considers and pays for. There are certain conditions like reaching specific levels, and in many cases, this requires many hours of gameplay or might never even be achieved. Platforms like Cointiply do this very cleverly. They profit by bringing in customers with these games. Games that have ads, games that earn money by being downloaded from Google Play, and Cointiply makes money when users spend a certain amount of time playing or reach certain levels. In many cases, Cointiply doesn't even have to pay the user because they didn't reach the required level, but at the same time, they still collect commissions from the game. If you don't like this type of game, having to play them can become a nightmare. Just to give you an idea, for example, this particular game that Ray played, Smash Party, offers a potential of 84,100 coins, which is equivalent to $8.41. Basically, Ray was on World 5 when he made the video, meaning he had earned 284 coins, which is equivalent to 2.84 cents. Even in the other game, which seems a bit more manageable, the price is similar, a maximum of 102,000 coins, which is about $10 for completing all the levels. Reggie reached level 25 after many hours of gameplay. I don't want to go on too long about each platform, so we'll look at more things Reggie has done to try to earn money later, but for now let's take a look at TimeBucks. The website seems a bit simpler than Cointiply's, but they offer similar tasks. and it promotes certain hooks, like weekly $2,000 prizes, or even that the owner gives out prizes to homeless people on the street. We'll have to see about that. So Reggie goes ahead and registers. Once inside, they explain the system for the $2,000 prize. Honestly, it seems very interesting since you have to play a wide variety of games. It's actually pretty good because you can even see the user rankings for the prize, their country, and I think it's a great way to encourage users to play and get hooked on the platform. The types of tasks available are organized in tabs. There are surveys, offers, games, pay-per-click, the usual stuff really. From what I can see, Reggie gets a welcome bonus of 40 cents, unlike Cointiply. There are no coins here, so I think it's easier to be aware of how much you're earning since everything is offered in dollars. Just so you have an idea, the clicks basically involve watching an ad for more than 5 seconds, and they usually pay around $0.002. It seems like there are ads constantly, so it's something you can do all the time, as much as you want, apparently. The tasks are the typical ones like registering on apps, following accounts or channels, etc. And the payments are also very low, usually below 0.05 cents per task. In the submission section, we can see everything Reggie has done or is doing and the status of each task, whether it was approved or not. Alright, let's move on to Microworkers now. Personally, it's the one I like the most. It seems more professional and has a greater number of offers of higher quality, where at first glance I think it's going to work better or at least generate more money. The main page is more focused on projects than on workers, so it puts more effort into getting companies, content creators or influencers to pay for workers to complete their requirements or projects. Remember that you can always translate the page using the Chrome browser because they're usually in English, and if you find it difficult to understand English, you can translate it into Spanish. Once inside, it looks like an old website without many graphic details, but it's actually well organized with filters and tabs that help you easily find the type of task you're looking for. Also, the tasks are well explained in the title, so you can get an idea right away if you're actually interested or not. The payments appear on the right. At first glance, they seem more satisfactory, always expecting at least 10 cents per task. Other metrics appear, such as TTR, which basically means the time it takes to rate, or TTF, time to finish the task. You can also see how many people out of the total have already participated in the task and how many are left. Honestly, I like it quite a lot, but does it really work? Let's see how Reggie did and whether she was actually able to complete many tasks and how much money she earned. So let's take a look at the Excel sheet where Reggie has recorded everything day by day. Here we are now in Reggie's Excel, where she tried to organize it in the best way possible. Tabs for each platform, and then a table where she clearly marked the month. And then what was done, what was earned, and some comments about it. In the end, a summary was made of what was recorded regarding the hours worked and the total earnings. You can see that Reggie focused much of her efforts on spinning the daily wheel and doing PTC. 5-second ad clicks. On some days, she mentions that she completed some offers or tasks and started levels in a game, as I showed you earlier. The days she earned more were because she claimed missions from games or tasks. With TimeBucks, it was more of the same. Same structure. Reggie continues to specify what she does every day. PTC is still the most frequently done activity. Here we see that Reggie also emphasizes that she has problems with surveys, which makes her focus her efforts on other things. On Microworkers, what I notice is that there are always a lot of tasks pending payment approval, which keep piling up every day. And this makes it hard to make progress because until the previous tasks are reviewed, you can't apply for new ones. She also has some issues with certain tasks that show as available, but then when she tries to apply, it turns out they're already completed, which makes me think the platform is slow to update their status. After October and November, I told Reggie that he could be more specific when recording his work for greater clarity. So he created new tabs, starting with December, and I also encouraged him to at least try to take on more tasks that paid better. It's important to remember that this experience ultimately comes from someone whose time is taken up with studies and other jobs, and he was only able to do this in his free time. Therefore, this should reflect the earning potential of a busy person who wants some extra income. In this month of December, Reggie also leaves us some general comments about each platform, in addition to the daily comments. In the conclusions for each platform, we will read his comments. Lastly, before moving on to the final numbers, it's worth mentioning that Nomad Task was also briefly tried, but it seems there are hardly any tasks available compared to previous years, so it wasn't worth the effort. Alright, let's move on to the final summary. Here we can see, by platform and by month, the hours or minutes spent working and the total earnings. Here we see October and November together, more than 25 hours of work for a gain of almost $9. In December, the work amounted to almost 13 hours for a gain of $5.47. So, in total for the 3 months, 38.27 hours for $14.42 in profit, which comes out to 38 cents per hour. We also have the ranking of platforms by earnings per hour, where Microworkers is the winner with 61 cents per hour, followed by Cointiply with 38 cents, and finally TimeBucks with 16 cents. If we look at the earnings per hour, without a doubt, Microworker would be the favorite. But what did Ricky say about this platform? What he said is that the vast majority of sign-up tasks are for offers that you can never actually complete. They range from taking a survey to installing an app and loading money onto it. Not recommended. The YouTube tasks, when you accept them, give you an estimated time of about 6 to 12 minutes. Most of them just ask for a thank you. They check the number of frames, and these are high, meaning you have to replay the video at least twice to complete the required frames. And during that process, the accepted task expires and you have to move on to another one. It's recommended to start with a preview without accepting, and only when you're further along, actually hit the start button. Simple email registrations just require you to enter your email and name, and you'll mostly receive informational emails, which are mostly product sales spam. So use a secondary email, not your main one. Basically, don't use your primary email, but a secondary one instead. There are several tasks from section 4 onwards that are visible but can't be completed. When you click accept, the task isn't visible. It has this title, TTV BNG. And what did Reggie say about TimeBucks? The worst paid. The tasks on the platform are varied, but they pay very little. You can do several per day and earn very little. The advantage is that they repeat daily. Most of them are for getting YouTube views or following on Instagram or Twitter. Surveys honestly always fail. PTC and push-click are updated throughout the day. The most you get for PTC is 0.003 and for push-click 0.002. Very little, honestly. This platform is for surveys, but I couldn't complete any because my profile was never what they were looking for. These results are not a surprise to me, although it's true that I expected the earnings per hour work to be a bit better. The truth is, I can't find a good reason why you should waste your time on these kinds of platforms. Earning about 50 cents per hour is honestly garbage. Even if you live in countries where wages are very low, I think you could use that time to do much more valuable things. There are plenty of alternatives on the internet where you can, of course, make a lot more money. But let's focus on the positive. These sites work. These sites pay. People use them constantly. Without a doubt, the ones who really profit here are the owners of these sites. The number of people working on these kinds of sites is very high, and the profit margin is high as well, since they earn a lot and pay users very little. In fact, I asked ChatGPT how much these kinds of platforms could make, and it told me around $500,000 a year. Son of a... And a promise is a promise. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's a way that you can work on these platforms and then make the most of them. Because this could be the first stepping stone to building a much better future. Because you have to start somewhere. So I'm going to tell you how you can use $20 or $30 earned on these platforms and make it grow as quickly as possible. Pay attention. Alright, within our community of Telegram channels, specifically TPO, and more specifically within Tips TPO, our tennis betting channel, you'll occasionally find this opportunity. They're called risk-free 5 times challenges, where by registering and depositing in one of our recommended betting sites, we aim to multiply our capital by 5. As you can see, there are betting sites for every country with a minimum of $20 or $30. Of course, you don't always win, but what's clear is that you never lose, because if you lose the challenge, the money is refunded. But imagine you have the $20 ready for the challenge and we hit the times 5. You end up with $100. And what can you do with those $100? Then you have to go to our TPO Forex channel, where we also have a risk-free challenge of 100 to 200 by registering with our trusted broker and making the minimum deposit. Same situation, if it is lost, the 100 are returned. But if you win, you'll be at 200. No risk. But why without risk? Because it's a win-win for everyone. I benefit from the affiliate programs with the betting sites and brokers. Thank you. They pay me for bringing in clients. This allows me to be able to pay a refund. So, work the platforms, reach $20 and message me.